Every successful entrepreneur knows that the big idea is only as good as his ability to execute it. Access to the right knowledge is often a linchpin to a successful launch.
What we here at Vishwapreneur wish to convey is how one should analyze the key market trends, the ones in the past, the ones in the near future, and the ones in the long-term future. These trends are likely to have a significant impact on the companies operating in this space in India.
Hemant Joshi is a partner in the audit and assurance practice with over 27 years of experience, mainly in telecom, technology management, and manufacturing sectors.
Deloitte provides a view on what may happen, what could likely occur as a consequence, and the implication for various types of ecosystem players. Now, providing his insight into the future, let us welcome Mr. Hemant Joshi to the stage.
Professor Dr. R.S. Acharya to felicitate Mr. Hemant Joshi.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Why are you standing? Volunteers can sit on this row or in this column. When somebody is standing, it shows they are about to leave. And I get very nervous when people are about to leave. So I was just having a chat before I came, where they offered me wonderful coffee. And I was just talking to some students and some faculty. What do you want me to talk, This is the last session, post-lunch session, a high-risk proposition. People are willing to just wait to go. Secondly, because of the boredom which may have come, the traffic on the social media increases. I just wanted to keep one thing in mind. I was in two minds whether to come today or not, because I'm having a very bad cold, fever, bad throat. And my wife is also in education and said, no, you're given a commitment, you go. So I have lived up to my commitment. I hope you live up to your commitment by being engaged. Okay? Yes! Good. So I'm going to show you some things. And perhaps, from morning, a lot of people have already a lot of people have already spoken about it. So I'll not dwell too much. But I'll talk something which is not there. What is the thing? What they don't teach you at Harvard. What they don't teach you at VIT. Okay? Good? Yes. Good. So we'll go back to basics. Can we have the video, please? A Deloitte material layer, I'm representing Deloitte, so.
It's time to go. Let's see how I'm getting home tonight.
Mobility managers use advanced analytics to combine Ben's trip history, current circumstances, data from millions of other commuters, and information from different modes of travel across the city to provide a set of tailored, seamless options. Payment providers allow Ben to pay by the mile. Insurance companies deliver customized per-trip insurance that accounts for Ben's particular route and mode of transit.
I need groceries. I can pick them up at the station and then take a pod home. But I can still get some exercise by biking to the train.
City planners work with the private sector to operate and maintain critical infrastructure. from bike racks to train platforms. Physical assets are increasingly smart and connected, allowing constant real-time monitoring.
Ah, perfect timing. And I don't even need to take my phone out of my pocket to board.
Digital infrastructure suppliers provide ubiquitous, high-speed connectivity for a smooth and secure online experience.
Milk, eggs, bread, ice cream? Yeah, why not?
Retailers and logistics providers enable nearly on-demand provisioning of products to Ben.
Well, I got my groceries. Now I just need to grab a pod, and I can catch a bit of the game.
Fleet operators store, maintain, and deploy shared autonomous vehicles throughout the city. Vehicle manufacturers build an array of shared self-driving options to meet the varying needs of Ben and the millions of other travelers. Content providers offer a variety of options, from entertainment to business applications, each supported by advertisers and subscription fees.
Wow, that was fast. Now I just check the fare summary, grocery bill, rate the trip, and it's time to relax.
देखा? So now tell me, the theme is insights into the future. This is a view of the future as we see it in Deloitte, in terms of what we call the future of mobility. In the past, when you talked of mobility, you thought of cars. You thought of traffic signals. One thought of roads. One thought of tolls. But if you see in this video, they're not talking of any of this. What is it they're talking about? Can somebody tell me what is it this video about? A crisp video.
Things happening on time, so you don't need to take your mobile out and do stuff like waste, like pass your time on that. Everything happening on time to time.
How?
Services provided faster without traffic engaging.
Partially right. But how will that happen?
Technology.
Technology. What part of technology? AI. No, but AI has to work on something, na? IoT has to work on something. Automation is a बहुत सुबेरे से सुना है आप लोग ने. Go back to fundas, na? What is the fundamental layer on which everything is working? Statistics तो ऊपर आया यार बॉस. I'm saying fundamental. तुम स्वर्ग में पहुंच गया, मैं तो भूतल बात कर रहा हूँ.
Needs.
हाँ? Electricity.
Needs.
हाँ?
Needs.
Need. Need, okay. कहाँ से बॉस आप लोग इंजीनियरिंग सब स्टूडेंट है ना? Data, yes, but उसके पीछे क्या हो रहा है? Information, उसके पीछे क्या हो रहा है? Programming के पीछे क्या हो रहा है? Funda, I'm asking a very fundamental question. आप सब फेल कर दूंगा मैं आपको. हाँ? Just think back. Just 15 seconds. Just think quietly, without WhatsApp. What is the fundamental thing? Processing of data. उसके पीछे क्या है? आइडिया के पीछे क्या है, प्रॉब्लम के पीछे क्या है, मेक थिंग फास्टर के पीछे क्या है. Because if you don't get this basic, whole life wasted. पूरा MBA दिन में खत्म. What is the fundamental thing in the video?
Imagination.
Huh?
Imagination.
Magnetism.
Imagination.
Imagination. Oh, you don't need to see a video to be imagined. I can imagine a wonderful, well, there are ladies here, so. You don't need a video to imagine.
Analysis.
Imagination of the future is a very important thing. But I'm asking the very, very fundamental, what is the fundamental thing in the video?
Time.
Huh?
Time.
Communication के पीछे क्या है?
Network.
नेटवर्क के पीछे क्या है? वो एक है ना, चोली के पीछे क्या है? नेटवर्क के पीछे क्या है बॉस? इंटरेक्शन के पीछे क्या है बॉस? नहीं, आप इंटरेक्ट करने के लिए क्या चाहिए? स्मार्टफोन के पीछे क्या है? ऐप के पीछे क्या है? Then somebody said something. Connectivity. Connectivity के पीछे क्या है? दिमाग के पीछे क्या है? Connectivity is very near, but that is not a complete answer. Idea. Connectivity, yes, but what is driving that connectivity? Internet के पीछे क्या है? Cloud के पीछे क्या है? Just think of one thing, if it is not there, this world will not exist. भगवान के सिवाय. Think, please think. This is very, very fundamental.
Human intelligence.
Huh?
Human intelligence.
All that is fine. I'm saying, what is that one fundamental thing? Time वो तो है, वो outstanding को बता दिया है भगवान ने. Electromagnetic wave. What is the fundamental thing? Boss? Fundamental. Huh? Mobile connectivity. Connectivity driven on telecom.
Mass communication.
नेटवर्क वो आगे आया. पहला तुम्हारा telecom connectivity. That means the wireless connectivity. एक इधर वायर का बात नहीं कर रहा है. This is the wireless communication system connectivity. This wireless communication connectivity is driving what is called, what is the gist of that video? How many industries were there in that? क्या यार, ऐसे आप जॉब के लिए आओगे तो मैं नहीं दूंगा. How many industries were there in that video? Please think. Deal with issues at a very fundamental level. Don't go by, at a superficial level. All industries, or can you name 5? पहला तो communication है. Services. Retail, very good. Infrastructure. Transportation, yeah, he said transportation. What else?
Logistics.
Logistics, yes.
Entertainment.
Banking, yes. Entertainment, yes. E-commerce. Services.
Finance.
Finance. This is the beauty when you have the mobile, the future of mobility. So mobility, not in mobility as a transport, but also mobility in terms of communications. So the way things are happening, if I have to use a technical jargon, actually you should have told me all this. You people are all supposed to be experts and generation Z ke niche kuch hai to all that. So this is driving what is called the connected world. Go to the first slide, please. So look at this data point. Can you read? Technical बहुत ये क्या है? Projector में दिखता नहीं है. So how many of you can read? Can you read loudly for the benefit of others? मैं नहीं करने वाला. हाँ? जोर से they have to hear. माइक दो यार उसको माइक.
Yeah, 25 billion plus embedded and intelligent systems, 4 trillion revenue opportunities, 4 billion people connected, 50 trillion GBs of data, 25 billion plus apps by 2020.
So, telecommunication industry, the mobile communications is enabling connected world where people, places, things are getting connected. And when this happens, there is something called convergence happening. In this, it will be very difficult to say which industry is driving which. Is transportation driving auto or auto driving transportation? Is transportation driving infra and the autonomous cars and the payment gateways and the analytics, or analytics is driving all this? So it's a rolling cycle. One feeds the other. So this connected world is the basis of the world you and I live in, and it's going to be more and more connected. And what does that mean? It means this. Can you read there at the other end? Huh? एक काम करो ना बॉस, बैक बेंचेस थोड़ा आगे आ जाओ ना, इतनी चलता है. Can you come up? Come this side. Yeah. Hey, back benchers. अरे यार शर्माओ मत. Come forward. I want to engage. I cannot see your eyes, so I cannot engage. बहुत जगह है बीच में देखो. Just fill it up, please. I want you to be engaged. If you have to take away few things from your investment, and my investment this afternoon, you have to be engaged. Come on, settle down, hurry up. Yeah. Good you put on the light. I want to see the faces. Sit, come on, let's get on. So this connected world is creating these situations. Go back to the previous one. Go back, remember this fundamental data. Everything, everyone, every place is getting connected. And what it means, go back, next slide. connected world. So just take half a minute to read some of the things. The robot kills a factory worker in Germany. But हम पीछे नहीं है. मेरे पास भी रोबोट है हरियाणा में, वो भी मार देता है. And then Chinese fair में the AI attacks a visitor. Killing machines, hacked robot could hack any critical systems, kill their pets. Human factory worker. Now, robot is programmed. In Germany, what happened is that there is a defined line, production line. Robot has been given a rule, any obstacle comes, remove. Above a certain feet, उसका जो sensor है, some joker went there, तो robot ने उसका काम किया, थकाक, finished. Now the question is, who is legally liable to compensate the dead worker? We'll talk about that later. Go ahead. This is I want you to remember this. This is a very, very important thing India has given to the world. Nobody in the world has this. Notwithstanding all the noise you are seeing in the paper about Aadhaar, it's an amazing system. People who are making this noise have not understood what is Aadhaar and what is its security protocol. Aadhaar is only a verification system. Any machine which verifies does not store data. I don't want to get into these technicalities because this is not the scope of this session. But please do research. So this is a very, very critical. Thoda niche lao. So look at this. 43 million, 430 million, 43 crores. I think we have overtaken US and maybe China. 32 crores broadband. अभी वो रिलायंस जियो ने सबका बैंड बजा के बहुत ब्रॉडबैंड और बड़ा बना दिया. Wi-Fi spots are very less, but I think you'll see a lot of action. 1 billion mobile connections. This is an amazing power which you and I are experiencing every day. But we're not seeing the larger picture or the larger implications of this. But most important is 1 billion digital identity. आप सबके पास आधार है? Yes. How many verification attributes it has? So which are the two biometrics? Fingerprint. अभी तो fingerprint ही चालू हुआ है, अभी रेटिना चालू होने तो देखो अभी क्या होता है. Not everywhere. Security में भी देखो एयरपोर्ट में आएगा. एयरपोर्ट में नहीं आया अभी. अबू धाबी नहीं, इंडिया की बात कर रहा हूं मैं. आधार इंडिया में है. This is a very, very powerful thing. No country in the world has 1.2 almost billion digital identities. And if you have studied the digital UID card, उसमें क्या है? एक very important thing is also there. Does anybody remember? वो एक number तो है, photo है. So the QR code, which is unique code, where will QR code work? Where are scanners? Scanners means what? Scanners means what? Scanners किधर scan किधर होता है? Where are scanners? आकाश में है कि किधर है? In the physical world. So you have a digital identity enabling system in form of QR code for the physical world. You also have a digital identity through fingerprint and retina for the virtual world. How many of you have gone to banks? Actually go to the bank? My God, I think, sir, you need to improve the mobile banking. It's just, you can download an app, Kotak Mahindra for example, or TBS, app download karo, UID de do, account khul gaya. It's a very powerful thing. Now you imagine when this UID started getting used in property registration, in conducting exams, in security, etc. etc. This is only humans. Imagine now, sab QR code sab ghar ko diya. Every vehicle, every guy, bhains, bakri. I'm not joking. See the power. That's where your data comes in. And then the analytics. But this, remember that this is a driver of a digital revolution in India. This is just set in motion a digital revolution. You just see the last 2 years data trends in terms of electronic transactions, electronic payments, whether it's through credit card, BHIM, and so on and so forth. It's mind-boggling. The growth rates are nowhere in the world. Go to the next one, please. बहुत धीरे-धीरे है यार. हाँ. ये तो आपको बताया होगा सुबह. Drone है, augmented reality है, Internet of Things है. Robots we talked, मारता है वो. And then Bitcoin and blockchain and all that. Let's pick up one drone. क्या है ड्रोन क्या है? देखा है आपने? नहीं देखा है? हाँ कि ना? Okay, by the way, how many of you went to the IIT Tech Fest? Hearty congratulations. Really, congratulations. I want names of these people who put up their hand. I have a separate gift for you, and you'll get separately. This is a gathering of technology. 190,000 students and various people come. It's the biggest event in Asia. Number of technologies were showcased. You went this year, right? What was the one thing you saw? One thing which impressed you? Who else was there? Somebody else put up their hand. IIT Tech Fest. Huh? What was one thing which impressed you? What else? Anybody else? I was hoping somebody will say. My robotic girlfriend was there. She was dressed in a beautiful Indian sari. You saw that? And she was looking very real. In Japan, people are wanting to get married to a robot partner. I'm not joking. This is the world. We don't want to deal with reality. But you think of Japan में, आप restaurant में जाओ, go with your friends, You are sitting across the table, not talking. We are getting switched off from reality. But these are the technologies which are there and going to impact. Are you ready? Do you at least understand the implications? ड्रोन में क्या हो रहा है, कोई बताएगा क्या हो रहा है ड्रोन में? What is the big thing happening in drone in this country? What else? Medical. In India में बात करो. अरे यार अपना पुणे पोलीस आणि मुंबई पोलीस त्याला वापरतात सिक्युरिटी सर्व्हेलन्स साठी. हे माणसं गॅदर झाली तर तिकडे पाठवतात. कोणी दंगा केली तर पकडायचं त्याच्यानंतर. I'm not joking. You do the case study. The drones are being used by forest department to track animals and so on and so forth. The robots are used by tower companies to see the state of the active equipment on the towers, what maintenance it needs, etc. The drones are being used by Delhi government in Gurgaon to map the property, and then it will be linked up through the GPRS location with the property records. These are just scratching the surface. It's all your imagination. Somebody said imagination. It's all your imagination. This is just one technology. In Dubai, they're going to start the drone taxi. In TechFest, the minister made a strong pitch to IIT saying that why don't you develop a drone transport system which will decongest the road traffic, etc. We had all this, Pushpak Viman, Satha. Unfortunately, we have forgotten all that. So these are the technologies, and then I'm not even getting into, you can see virtual reality, Bitcoin, blockchain. Is it मालूम है क्या है? Very good. So this is a connected world. In the connected world, things don't happen sequentially. They're all happening at the same time. Go to the next one. And these are some of the major initiatives that the government has taken. And I think you are familiar. Startup India, Make in India, and so on and so forth. This is very important slides. I don't think people at the back can read. So can you read for the benefit of everybody, madam? Okay, throat is bad. इसको माइक दे दो साहब. काला वाला पढ़ो खाली. थोड़ा ऊपर ले लो. हाँ, बस.
Collaborative economy. Disintermediation of brokerage and leasing. Wow for talent, last mile, future of mobility.
So this connected world is throwing up these opportunities, and it's creating disruption through this. What is the first one? Collaborative economy. What is collaborative economy? It's called, what is the gist of that video? How many industries were there in that? क्या यार ऐसे आप जॉब के लिए आओगे तो मैं नहीं दूंगा. How many industries were there in that video? Please think. Deal with issues at a very fundamental level. Don't go by, at a superficial level. All industries, or can you name 5? फंडर पहला तो कम्युनिकेशन है. सर्विसेज, रिटेल, वेरी गुड. Infrastructure. Transportation. Yeah, he said transportation. What else?
Logistics.
Logistics. Yes.
Entertainment.
Banking. Yes. Entertainment. Yes. E-commerce. Services.
Finance.
Finance. This is the beauty when you have the mobile, the future of mobility. So mobility, not in mobility as a transport, but also mobility in terms of communications. So the way things are happening, if I were to use a technical jargon, actually you should have told me all this. You people are all supposed to be experts and generation Z ke niche kuch hai to all that. So this is driving what is called a connected world. Go to the first slide, please. So look at this data point. Can you read? Technical बहुत ये क्या है? प्रोजेक्टर में दिखता नहीं है. So how many of you can read? Can you read loudly for the benefit of others? मैं नहीं करने वाला. हाँ? जोर से they have to hear. माइक दो यार उसको माइक.
Yeah, 25 billion plus embedded and intelligent systems, 4 trillion revenue opportunities, 4 billion people connected, 50 trillion GBs of data, 25 billion plus apps by 2020.
So, telecommunication industry, the mobile communications is enabling connected world where people, places, things are getting connected. And when this happens, there is something called convergence happening. In this, it will be very difficult to say which industry is driving which. Is transportation driving auto or auto driving transportation? Is transportation driving infra and the autonomous cars and the payment gateways and the analytics, or analytics is driving all this? So it's a rolling cycle. One feeds the other. So this connected world is the basis of the world you and I live in, and it's going to be more and more connected. And what does that mean? It means this. Can you read there at the other end? Huh?
Yes.
एक काम करो ना boss. Back benches थोड़ा आगे आ जाओ. इतनी चलता है. Can you come up? Come this side. Yeah. Hey, back benches. अरे यार शर्माओ मत. Come forward. I want to engage. I cannot see your eyes, so I cannot engage. बहुत जगह है बीच में देखो. Just fill it up, please. I want you to be engaged. If you have to take away some things from your investment and my investment this afternoon, you have to be engaged. Go on, settle down, hurry up. Yeah, good you put on the light. I want to see the faces. Sit, come on, let's get on. So this connected world is creating these situations. Go back to the previous one. Go back, remember this fundamental data. Everything, everyone, every place is getting connected. And what it means, Go back. Next. Next slide. Connected world. So, just take half a minute to read some of the things. The robot kills a factory worker in Germany. But हम पीछे नहीं है. मेरे पास भी रोबोट है हरियाणा में, वो भी मार देता है. And then Chinese fair में the AI attacks a visitor. Killing machines, hacked robot could hack any critical systems, kill their pets. Human factory worker. Now, robot is programmed. In Germany, what happened is that there is a defined line, production line. Robot has been given a rule, any obstacle comes, remove. Above a certain feet, उसका जो sensor है, some joker went there, तो robot ने उसका काम किया, थकाक, finished. Now the question is, who is legally liable to compensate the dead worker? We'll talk about that later. Go ahead. This is I want you to remember this. This is a very, very important thing India has given to the world. Nobody in the world has this. Notwithstanding all the noise you are seeing in the paper about Aadhaar, it's an amazing system. People who are making this noise have not understood what is Aadhaar and what is its security protocol. Aadhaar is only a verification system. Any machine which verifies does not store data. I don't want to get into the technicalities because this is not the scope of the session. But please do research. So this is a very, very critical. Thoda niche lao. So look at this. 43 million, 430 million, 43 crores. I think we have overtaken US and maybe China. 32 crores broadband. अभी वो रिलायंस जियो ने सबका बैंड बजा के बहुत ब्रॉडबैंड और बड़ा बना दिया. Wi-Fi spots are very less, but I think you'll see a lot of action. 1 billion mobile connections. This is an amazing power which you and I are experiencing every day. But we're not seeing the larger picture or the larger implications of this. But most important is 1 billion digital identity. आप सबके पास आधार है? Yes. How many verification attributes it has? So which are the two biometrics? Fingerprint. अभी तो fingerprint ही चालू हुआ है, अभी retina चालू होने तो देखो अभी क्या होता है. Not everywhere. Security में भी देखो airport में आएगा. Airport में नहीं आया अभी. अबू धाबी नहीं, इंडिया की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं. आधार इंडिया में है. This is a very, very powerful thing. No country in the world has 1.2 almost billion digital identities. And if you have studied the digital UID card, उसमें क्या है? एक very important thing is also there. Does anybody remember? वो एक number तो है, photo है. So that QR code, which is unique code, Where will QR code work? Where are scanners? Scanners means what? Scanners means what? Scanners किधर scan किधर होता है? Where are scanners? आकाश में है कि किधर है? In the physical world. So you have a digital identity enabling system in form of QR code for the physical world. You also have a digital identity through fingerprint and retina for the virtual world. How many of you have gone to banks? Actually go to the bank? My God, I think, sir, you need to improve the mobile banking. It's just, you can download an app, Kotak Mahindra for example, or TVS, app download karo, UID de do, account khul gaya. It's a very powerful thing. Now you imagine when this UID started getting used in property registration, in conducting exams, in security, etc., etc. This is only humans. Imagine now, sab QR code sab ghar ko diya. Every vehicle, every guy, bhains, bakri. I'm not joking. See the power. That's where your data comes in. And then the analytics. But this, remember that this is a driver of a digital revolution in India. This is just set in motion a digital revolution. You just see the last 2 years data trends in terms of electronic transactions, electronic payments, whether it's through credit card, BHIM, and so on and so forth. It's mind-boggling. The growth rates are nowhere in the world. Go to the next one, please. बहुत धीरे-धीरे है यार. हाँ. ये तो आपको बताओगा सुबह. Drone है, augmented reality है, 3D printing है, Internet of Things है, robots you talked, मारता है वो, and then Bitcoin and blockchain and all that. Let's pick up one drone. क्या है ड्रोन क्या है? देखा है आपने? नहीं देखा है? हाँ कि ना? Okay, by the way, how many of you went to the IIT Tech Fest? Hearty congratulations. Really, congratulations. I want names of these people who put up their hand. I have a separate gift for you, and you'll get separately. This is a gathering of technology. 190,000 students and various people come. It's the biggest event in Asia. Number of technologies were showcased. You went this year, right? What was the one thing you saw? One thing which impressed you? Who else was there? Somebody else put up their hand. IIT Tech Fest. What was one thing which impressed you? What else? Anybody else? I was hoping somebody will say. My robotic girlfriend was there. She was dressed in a beautiful Indian sari. You saw that? And she was looking very real. In Japan, people are wanting to get married to a robot partner. I'm not joking. This is the world. We don't want to deal with reality. But you think of Japan mein, आप restaurant में जाओ, go with your friends, you are sitting across the table, not talking. You are getting switched off from reality. But these are the technologies which are there and going to impact. Are you ready? Do you at least understand the implications? ड्रोन में क्या हो रहा है कोई बताएगा क्या हो रहा है ड्रोन में? What is the big thing happening in drone in this country? What else? Medical. In India में बात करो. अरे यार अपना पुणे पोलीस आणि मुंबई पोलीस त्याला वापरतात सिक्युरिटी सर्व्हेलन्स साठी. हे माणसं गॅदर झाली तर तिकडे पाठवतात. कोणी दंगा केली तर पकडायचं त्याच्यानंतर. I'm not joking. You do the case study. The drones are being used by forest department to track animals and so on and so forth. The robots are used by tower companies to see the state of the active equipment on the towers, what maintenance it needs, etc. The drones are being used by Delhi government in Gurgaon to map the property, and then it will be linked up through the GPRS location with the property records. These are just scratching the surface. It's all your imagination. Somebody said imagination. It's all your imagination. This is just one technology. In Dubai, they're going to start the drone taxi. In TechFest, the minister made a strong pitch to IIT saying that why don't you develop a drone transport system which will decongest the road traffic, etc. We had all this, Pushpak Viman, sab tha. Unfortunately, we have forgotten all that. So these are the technologies, and then I'm not even getting into, you can see virtual reality, Bitcoin, blockchain. Is that मालूम है क्या है? Very good. So this is a connected world. In the connected world, things don't happen sequentially. They're all happening at the same time. Go to the next one. And these are some of the major initiatives that the government has taken. And I think you are familiar. Startup India, Make in India, and so on and so forth. This is very important slides. I don't think people at the back can read. So can you read for the benefit of everybody, madam? Okay, throat is bad. तू माइक दे दो साहब. काला वाला पढ़ो खाली, थोड़ा ऊपर ले लो. हाँ, बस.
Collaborative economy. Disintermediation of brokerage and leasing. VAV for talent, last mile, future of mobility.
So this connected world is throwing up these opportunities, and it's creating disruption through this. What is the first one? Collaborative economy. What is collaborative economy? What is collaborative economy? Coming together. Give me an example. Huh? GST. Maybe. But more. कोई एक example दे दो.
Idea Vodafone?
हाँ, वो तो merger है. Collaborate नहीं, एक दूसरे को खा रहा है. Collaborative. वो तो यार वो पूरा economy दिखा, modern economy है. आप लोग ये यूज करते हैं Uber और Ola और तो उसमें और एक ऐप है ना, क्या है? क्या? What is that one feature in these two apps? Share, right. I have a capacity, and if I hire a car, I have to pay X, but there are 3 seats empty. You also want to go there, I also want to go there, and she also wants to go there, notwithstanding the throat, and we all get into the same cab and go. Now, this was not possible without the technology. Unless you went to a stand and then you waited and waited and waited, then those fellows will come and shout, Vishrant Party, Vishrant Party, Vishrant Party. So this is very powerful. And this sharing is going to happen across the sectors. Now you start thinking what implications it has for you. The next one is disintermediation. Now your bank there is some very good study which shows that physical brick and mortar banks will vanish. Already they are vanishing. How many times you have actually gone to withdraw money to the bank? Ooh. 2 people in this whole lot. I'm wondering what these 2 people are doing in the bank. Maybe there is a good looking girl or something. So it's creating this whole thousands of, hundreds of years of a physical brick and mortar bank gone. Now just imagine what happens to education. You can see how tight that is. People who run these institutions. All this material is put up for free by Harvard, Berkeley, Falana, Digna, Ganga, Jamna, Saraswati. You pay, if you want a certification, pay. बाकी पढ़ना है, interest है. You have a video, Reliance Jio, 4G footprint, LTE. You are downloading, you are interested in what Boston University says about AI or MIT. Tuck, tuck. You are going from here to there, resting में बैठा है, कॉफी पी रहा है, बीच में थोड़ा देख लिया. You can do any course. Do you have to come to the classroom? Think. Think. You pick up any other sector. Disintermediation, disruption. Next, talent. There is going to be a big demand for a certain talent skills. People who understand the digital world, who understand the technology operating in the digital world. But more important will be the people who can connect this with the real life problems. Somebody said the problems or the challenges or something. Absolutely right. All this technology is to solve a human problem, to address a need. Forget the problem, address a need. And if you can find out what is the need, and I'm sure from morning you would have heard a lot of gyan about what's happening. How much time we have? Another? Okay. Okay. So these are the mega trends. It's creating disruption. So see in your context, where is the disruption? Where is the disruption coming? Let me tell you something which they don't tell you in VIT. Jobs नहीं होने वाले. MBAs will not be in demand, but entrepreneurs will be. There are huge challenges, therefore huge opportunities. I'll give you one example. Can you go to the internet, do a search on Manu Prakash, MIT I think, or Boston. देसी अपना आदमी उधर पहुंचा है. Can you do that? Manu Prakash. Boss. ये तो खलास है. न्यूक्लियर अटैक आ गया और मिसाइल आके खत्म. थर्ड मिसाइल में रिस्पॉन्स टाइम. ये चल नहीं रहा है क्या टेक्नोलॉजी? कनेक्टिविटी. हाँ, अभी उसका एक टेड टॉक होगा छोटा वाला, वो लगाओ जरा. हाँ, वो लगाओ. जोर करो, आवाज जोर से करो, एटलीस्ट दे कैन हियर. फुल स्क्रीन करो.
The year is 1800. A curious little invention is being talked about. It's called a microscope. What it allows you to do is see tiny little life forms that are invisible to the naked eye. Soon comes a medical discovery that many of these life forms are actually causes of terrible human diseases. Imagine what happened to the society when they realized that an English mom in her teacup actually was drinking a Monster soup. Not very far from here. This is from London. Fast forward 200 years. We still have this Monster soup around, and it's taken hold in the developing countries around the tropical belt. Just for malaria itself, there are 1 million deaths a year and more than 1 billion people that need to be tested because they are at risk for different species of malarial infections. Now, it's actually very simple to put a face to many of these monsters. You take a stain, like acridine orange or a fluorescent stain or Giemsa, and a microscope, and you look at them. They all have faces. Why is that so? That Alex in Kenya, Fatima in Bangladesh, Navjot in Mumbai, and Julie and Mary in Uganda still wait months to be able to diagnose why they are sick. And that's primarily because of scalability of this diagnostics is completely out of reach. And remember that number, 1 billion. The problem lies with the microscope itself. Even though the pinnacle of modern science, research microscopes are not designed for field testing, neither were they first designed for diagnostics at all. They're heavy, bulky, really hard to maintain, and cost a lot of money. This picture is Mahatma Gandhi in the 40s using the exact same setup that we actually use today for diagnosing TB in his ashram in Sevagram in India. Two of my students, Jim and James, traveled around India and Thailand, starting to think about this problem a lot. We saw all kinds of donated equipment. We saw fungus growing on microscope lenses, and we saw people who had a functional microscope but just didn't know how to even turn it on. What grew out of that work and that trip was actually the idea of what we call foldscopes. So what is a foldscope? A foldscope is a completely functional microscope, a platform for fluorescence, bright field, polarization, projection, all kinds of advanced microscopy built purely by folding paper. So now you think, how is that possible? I'm going to show you some examples here and we'll run through some of them. It starts with a single sheet of paper. What you see here is all the possible components to build a functional bright field and fluorescence microscope. So there are 3 stages. There is the optical stage, the illumination stage, and the mask holding stage. And there are micro-optics at the bottom that's actually embedded in the paper itself. What you do is you take it on, and just like you were playing like a toy, which it is, I tab it off, and I break it off. This paper has no instructions and no languages. There is a code, a color code embedded that tells you exactly how to fold that specific microscope. When it's done, it looks something like this. Has all the functionalities of a standard microscope, just like an XY stage, a place where a sample slide could go, for example, right here. We didn't want to change this because this is the standard that's been optimized for over the years, and many health workers are actually used to this. So this is what changes, but the standard stains all remain the same for many different diseases. You pop this in. There is an XY stage, and then there is a focusing stage, which is a flexure mechanism that's built in paper itself that allows us to move and focus the lenses by micron steps. So what's really interesting about this object, and my students hate when I do this, but I'm going to do this anyway, is these are rugged devices. I can turn it on and throw it on the floor and really try to stomp on it. And they last, even though they're designed from a very flexible material like paper. Another fun fact is this is what we actually send out there as a standard diagnostic tool. But here in this envelope, I have 30 different fold scopes of different configurations, all in a single folder. And I'm going to pick one randomly. This one, turns out, is actually designed specifically for malaria because it has the fluorescent filters built specifically for diagnosing malaria. So the idea of very specific diagnostic microscopes comes out of this. So up till now, you didn't actually see what I would see from one of these setups. So what I would like to do is, if we could dim the lights, please. It turns out fold scopes are also projection microscopes. I have these two microscopes that I'm going to go to the back of the wall, and just project, and this way you would see exactly what I would see. What you're looking at, this is a cross-section of a compound eye, and when I'm going to zoom in closer, right there, I'm going through the z-axis. You actually see how the lenses are cut together in the cross-section pattern. Another example, one of my favorite insects, I love to hate this one, is a mosquito. And you're seeing the antenna of a Culex pipens right there. All from the simple setup that I actually described. So my wife has been field testing some of our microscopes by washing my clothes whenever I forget them in the dryer. So it turns out they're waterproof, and right here is just fluorescing water. And I don't know if you can actually see this. This also shows you how the projection scope works. You get to see the beam the way it's projected and bent. Can we get the lights back on again? So I'm quickly going to show you, since I'm running out of time, in terms of how much it costs for us to manufacture, the biggest idea was roll-to-roll manufacturing. So we built this out of 50 cents of parts and cost. And what this allowed us to do is think about a new paradigm in microscopy, which we call use and pro microscopy. I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of some of the parts that go in. Here is a sheet of paper. This is when we were thinking about the idea. This is an A4 sheet of paper. These are the three stages that you actually see. And the optical components, if you look at the inset up on the right, we had to figure out a way to manufacture lenses in paper itself at really high throughputs. So it uses a process of self-assembly and surface tension to build achromatic lenses in the paper itself. So that's where the lenses go. There are some light sources. And essentially, in the end, all the parts line up because of origami. Because of the fact that origami allows us sub-micron scale precision of optical alignment. So even though this looks like a simple toy, the aspects of engineering that go in something like this are fairly sophisticated. So here's another obvious thing that we would do typically if I was going to show that these microscopes are robust, is go to the third floor and drop it from the floor itself. There it is, and it survives. So for us, the next step actually is really finishing our field trials. We're starting at the end of the summer. We are at a stage where we'll be making thousands of microscopes. That would be the first time where we would be doing field trials with the highest density of microscopes ever at a given place. We've started collecting data for malaria, Chagas disease, and Giardia from patients itself. And I want to leave you with this picture. I had not anticipated this before, but a really interesting link between hands-on science education and global health. What are the tools that we're actually providing the kids who are going to fight this monster soup for tomorrow? I would love for them to be able to just print out a Foldscope and carry them around in their pockets. Thank you.
So I would like to just take 2 more minutes. So I think of a very, very fundamental problem. Because if you solve the problem, there is a huge opportunity. And the biggest problems we have today is not, while, from a business point of view, how to increase market share, how to increase ROI, how to increase throughput of capital, human HR, very legitimate problems. But these problems are behind the real problems in society. Agriculture is the biggest problem for the humanity. Food security is a huge challenge. Do you know the state of the affairs which is there in this agriculture? Nowhere in the world agriculture is viable on its own. And the use of chemicals has killed this challenge. Yesterday I was having dinner at my home with a lady who has invested a whole life, biotechnologist. There is a foundation called Inora, organic farming. Please do look up. And she was a founder and I had invited her home. And she gave me one thing. I said, what's the big problem? She said, let me give you an analogy. Imagine in your blood, there is no hemoglobin. What will happen? Any amount of vitamins and food you eat, same thing has happened to soil. There is a very important component of the soil which is called carbon. And through the use of chemicals, it's killed. So where is the food security going to come from? Water. India will be out of having a huge shortage of water in next 10 years. Pollution, I don't have to tell you. You open the newspaper and you'll see common challenges. So if I were you, I would not bet on MNC or a Deloitte or, giving you a job. Of course there will be jobs, but I think I would encourage you, each of you, to be an entrepreneur. Think of a challenge and solve the challenge like Manu Prakash. Thank you very much, and pleasure to meet you. I enjoyed, I don't know whether you enjoyed. So thank you once more for having me here, and all the best to you in your career.